G'day guys, welcome back to another Bitcoin video. Bitcoin has broken to the upside, broken above that bull market support band and closed the weekly candle above that bull market support band at 20.8k, hence putting it in a region in which it is a strong buy. But just because Bitcoin is a buy now, which it is by the way, I'm not backtracing from that, it is a buy right now. Just because it's a buy doesn't mean we should be buying right now, if you know what I mean, because Bitcoin's dramatically overvalued, right, in the short term. All that kind of stuff, dramatically overvalued. Now, look, it really does depend on a lot of factors. Risk tolerance is one of them. The fact that we've ignored TA so much in the past 2 weeks is one of them. Maybe we just keep pumping, who knows. But ultimately, we do need to dive into the charts. We do need to look at a few things. We also need to look at the biggest threat for Bitcoin, because there is a threat, right? This isn't a risk-free buy. This is something I've made very clear, but we'll get into all of that in a second, all right? So before we get into the video, Crypto Academy courses, if you want to learn how to trade, want to learn how to chart for yourself, you can do so using the website in the pinned comment and description below at Crypto Academy courses. And if you're interested in signing up to the Bitget Exchange, that will dramatically help this channel as well. And the last thing is, if you're interested in becoming a VIP member where we trade altcoins, you can do that pinned comment and description. All right, guys, without further ado, let's get into the video. Bitcoin just doesn't seem to care about bearish structures right now. This is something we've established quite firmly over the last week. It literally just does not seem to care. The amount of bearish structures we have had in the past 2 weeks that have just been broken to the upside is ridiculously, it's just plain ridiculous. And look, what this actually means, you might say, oh, TA doesn't work, it's because TA doesn't work. No, that's not what it means. What it means is that the overall macro structure, the 4-year cycle theory, is so strong that the short-term TA is irrelevant. This 4-year cycle theory predicted the bottom in Q4 or potentially January. That prediction was stronger than every piece of TA you can find. The same thing happened in November, right? This is very important. The same thing happened in November, right? In November, what we had was Bitcoin top out while quantitative easing was still pretty much happening. I mean, there was quantitative tightening at that point, I should say. However, S&P 500, all the traditional markets still pumped and continued to pump for a further 2 months. There was no reason why Bitcoin should have topped out that early. The only reason why it should have topped out that early is because of the 4-year cycle theory. The same thing's happening now. S&P 500 still downtrending, right? Still in an overall downtrending. We're still seeing quantitative tightening. We're still seeing rate hikes. The only reason it's bottomed out, right, and the only reason we think it's bottomed out, it's not fully confirmed yet, that's for sure. 28.6k would be a full confirmation, but I think it's in, right? The only reason why it's bottomed out here is, again, because of the 4-year cycle theory. I've said over and over again for over a year, in fact, 15 months straight since November, the 4-year cycle is more important than external events in the market. I've said that over and over again. And it's more important than external events in the market until it's not. It's very much worth noting. This is something we'll dive into in this video. It's more important than external events until it's not. The trend is your friend until it ends. The trend is still occurring. It's still happening, as you can see by this pump. There's no real reason why we should have seen a pump this aggressive, right? It's really not. We're in a macro downwards trend. We broke below resistance recently, right? Everything was wrong. Everything looks bad. S&P's dumping. Traditional market's going down. You know, rate hikes are going up. I mean, yeah, inflation's slowly coming down, but it's still relatively high. It's still very high, actually. There's no real reason why we should have pumped here. The reason is the 4-year cycle. What else is there to say about it? So now what we've done, really, on Bitcoin is we closed the weekly candle. We came up, and this weekly candle closed about an hour ago, hour and a half ago. Closed above the 200-day SMA, closed above the bull market support band, closed above the 300-week SMA. All in the meantime, we did so after bouncing off an 8-year uptrending support line. All in the meantime while we bottomed out as per the 4-year cycle theory. So it looks great from a macro perspective. It looks better than it could look. You know, if we looked here 2 weeks ago, I wouldn't believe we'd be this high. So it's great to see us actually be in this price region. And so what this means is that Bitcoin, yes, 100% Bitcoin is a buy. It is a buy at this point. The question you need to ask yourself, however, and I can't answer it for you because it's based on your personal risk tolerance, is do you buy now or do you buy when the daily chart RSI is not at the highest level it's seen since January 2021? Or when the 12-hourly chart RSI is not at the highest level it's seen since forever in the entire price history of Bitcoin? You know, do you buy when the valuation of Bitcoin is more reasonable? Because right now, there's no doubt in my mind that we're overvalued, right? We've moved up in the past, 16 days. We've moved up 30%. We haven't seen a move that big in this entire bear market. So yes, Bitcoin is overvalued right now. But even as I speak, even as I make this video, which is so surprising to me, Bitcoin manages to break to the upside. Yeah, it looks pretty ugly at the moment, but it manages to break to the upside of a bullish pennant formation. Yes, it was a bullish formation, but you'd think with all of the overvaluation in the market right now, the clear-cut overvaluation, you'd think maybe it would break to the downside. Apparently not, right? This is what I mean right now. TA is just simply not working. What I would say is this. We have an uptrending support line on the 4-hourly RSI. I'd be keeping an eye on that. If we break that to the downside, I find it highly unlikely that we'll maintain this upwards momentum. I spoke about it in yesterday's video quite extensively. I think that the critical zones are quite clear. Obviously, now that we've taken the bull market support band, taken the 200-day SMA, obviously those are critical zones. But more importantly, I think the most critical zone in terms of the lowest point we can possibly go while remaining bullish is 17.7K. Talked about this yesterday. The clear-cut support box between 17.7K and 18.2K is very much what we need to be watching. Let me just bring it up here for Bitcoin. If we drop back below that box, what you can see is that this box basically separates this range here from this range here. If we drop back below this box here, we go back into the previous range, which is very bearish. We don't want to do that after such a strong move to the upside. So yeah, we want to stay above 17.7K. Worst case scenario, we do a long consolidation, come back down, retest, and then go upwards. And that would form what a lot of people think would look like a typical bear market bottom. That's highly possible. In fact, it actually looks pretty natural, in my opinion. Something like that, something like a retest of that red box does look pretty natural. It's hard for me to make a prediction about whether it will happen or not. I simply don't have the data available at this point in time. All I can say is it could happen, and all I can say is that so long as we're above 17.7K, we're in a pretty good position for Bitcoin. So just keep in mind, if you are going to be buying here, again, Bitcoin is a buy. It's just up to you whether you buy here or not. TA clearly isn't working. There's no point in me even doing short-term analysis at this point. We're just breaking things to the upside, left, right, and center when we clearly shouldn't be, like ever since 17K. So who cares about doing short-term TA at this point? With that said, I'm not saying just throw out, short-term TA out the window. I'm just saying it's highly unreliable. So for me to make any predictions on the short term in this kind of volatility would be completely irrational and completely misguided. I wouldn't be comfortable doing it. What I would say is this: if you're in any altcoin trades, if you're planning on trading altcoin, planning on longing Bitcoin or something like that, just be extremely cautious, because that's a very risky move with this volatility and with this unpredictability in the short term. What I would say is this: if you are planning on buying here, okay, which a lot of people would be doing at 21K, just understand what I said before. It is very, very plausible that Bitcoin goes down to 17.7K. Okay, just understand that if you buy here, you could be at a 16% loss. Are you comfortable with that? And are you comfortable with the small chance that we could drop below 17.7K, in which case you'd be forced to hold for a 16% loss, right? That's kind of the question you need to ask yourself. Are you going to wait for are you going to wait for Bitcoin to go down a little bit, which bloody hell could happen, could not. I mean, the way this is going, who knows, right? Or are you going to take the risk and buy here? If you're a long-term holder, you're planning on holding for years, realistically, it shouldn't matter too much to you. It just depends on what kind of trades you're looking for and what kind of position size and position length you're really looking for. But ultimately, I think the biggest actual concern, because everything's looking great. There's no doubt about this. Everything's looking great. 4-year cycle, all this stuff, 8-year support line, cool, all good. The only real thing I'm really worried about right now for Bitcoin, and it's not enough to make me not buy, because I'm still actually contemplating myself whether I'm going to be buying at this price region. It's a decision I haven't made yet. I'm making this video first before I make that decision, because I see it as more important to get this information out to the community, and then I can make a decision later in the day. I'm not particularly stressed. But what I'm actually relatively concerned about, and this is kind of the bearish scenario here, is the S&P 500. It is at a diagonal resistance line, and this is one of the reasons why I'm not too quick to jump the gun on buying right here. I do want to see some sort of correction, I think. I don't know. It just seems ridiculous to be buying after such a strong move to the upside with such overvaluation. It does seem a little bit ridiculous to me. But again, that's my personal opinion. I'm not fully come to a decision on that yet, unfortunately. I wish I could help you guys there. Tomorrow I will have made a decision. But what I would say is this, S&P 500, January 2022, downtrending resistance line. It's currently right on top of that. It is very plausible that we see a rejection on the S&P, and that could materialize due to the fact that Bitcoin is so overly valued right now. That could materialize into a correction on Bitcoin. But ultimately, I do think the bottom is in. My opinion's not changed on that. I do think the bottom is in. I don't think we'll go below 17.7K. If we do, that would obviously be a sell signal for sure. And right now, Bitcoin long-term is a macro buy signal. It's just up to you guys to determine whether you want to buy at such a short-term overvalued price. It really is up to you. Now, tomorrow I will be making a video going over the long-term predictions. Now that we've bottomed out, in my opinion, I can start making predictions about the rest of 2023, 2024, 2025, when the next bull market will top, where it will top, etc. Stuff like that we can start really diving into, which are really interesting questions that I think a lot of people love to see answer. So we'll get into that tomorrow. But ultimately, it's great to see Bitcoin seeing some strength here and moving out of that permanent capitulation kind of mode it was in. It still is in a bear market. I mean, it depends what you mean by bear market, right? The definition of bear market is highly subjective, I think. Yes, there may be one actual English definition, but the fact of the matter is Bitcoin is probably still in a bear market until we get that full confirmation. I said at the start of this video, I'll say it again. I don't think we've seen full confirmation of a reversal. We're getting early confirmation, and this is the whole point of us buying in this price region, early confirmation. The full confirmation, in my opinion, really comes from breaking above the horizontal support line that you formed during the bull market. And that on Bitcoin is around 28.6K. I can't get it precise here because I'm so zoomed out. But once we get above 28.6K, that's like full confirmation that the bear market's actually over. But right now I think we've got a decent amount of confirmation. And based on 4-year cycle, based on all that stuff, yeah, it looks pretty decent in my opinion. So that's the video, guys. Hope you enjoyed it. Thanks for watching, and I'll catch you tomorrow. Cheers. I want to briefly interrupt this video to talk about the Bitget Exchange. The Bitget Exchange has 5 times lower fees than Binance on futures. It has a rewards center, it has a protection fund, it has events regularly run. For example, the FIFA World Cup event it ran recently was in partnership with Messi, the famous football player. There are many, many reasons to sign up using this exchange here, but if you sign up using my exclusive referral link, which you can find a link to in the pinned comment or description, you will get a further 15% decrease on futures fees, and you'll get access to an exclusive reward center in which you can gain access to 4,000 USD in rewards via completing various tasks of various difficulties. Signing up to this exchange using my referral link is by far the best way you can support the channel, and it's the best way you can support yourself as a trader, gaining access to the cheapest exchange on the cryptocurrency market. Now, for my viewers from the United States of America, when you're signing up to the exchange, click on Other as country of residence, as you can see I'm doing on the screen now, and you will be able to sign up and use the exchange. Normally, as a non-KYC customer, you'll be treated exactly the same as everyone else in the exchange. So please sign up using my referral link. Thanks for watching the advertisement. Let's get back into the video.